hasn't he? But you really get the impression those two just love playing with each other, don't you?
And so they should do. Look, I mean, Harry Kane, don't get me wrong, he's quite selfish at times in front of goal. He's got that ruthlessness about him, but the lads accept that because he's so clinical. But what Son is bringing to the table last year and this year, he's getting better and better each year, and I think you can see how appreciative the whole team is of his performances.
I've not seen a more single-minded centre forward in terms of taking opportunities when they come, shooting on sight from all angles since Ruud van Nistelrooy. He had that obsession with scoring or at least getting a shot off on goal but this guy today, Son, was phenomenal. I mean, in all aspects of his game here, taking on defenders, creating opportunities for others. And I said it before, the variation of his game. This bit of skill here, beautiful. Takes a defender out of the game, draws a defender to him. And who's the man in there?
Offside.
Harry Kane. Slightly, well, you could say that maybe, but I think the advantage to the centre forward there, and it's difficult for the linesman to see that really.
Yeah, I think, look, we have the benefit of the replay and the line across the pitch, and not, with that, yes, he is in an offside position. I think the linesman, as Rio said, has got a very, very tough decision there, and he's given the benefit to the striker.
And here is the one that breaks the record for 3-0.
Yeah, this is a good goal from Spurs' point of view. A lot of space there. Great ball in from Dyer, put it into the danger zone there. That little corridor between the back line and the goalkeeper, corridor of uncertainty for all. But the centre forward takes full advantage of that. Great centre forward play in between the sticks. You get your opportunities, and he scores.
And look, people will quite rightly say to us, come on guys, the football existed before the Premier League. You can't just talk about him as being the top Premier League scorer. Let's talk about him in the context of Tottenham. But if he stays at this club, those goals by Jimmy Greaves, he will slowly start to catch them. As we said, he's only 24. He's going to probably score 30 goals this season. That's his 20th goal already in the league this season.
It's remarkable.
Ridiculous.
It's remarkable, and I suppose the thing with Harry Kane is you can never really go against him. You know, all these crazy numbers that you're talking about with Jimmy Greaves that he achieved at this Spurs, you know, they seem so far away. But if Harry starts putting in 30 a season, which he's capable of, all of a sudden those numbers will creep up. If he's still at Tottenham Hotspur, which will be that question that everybody will talk about.
Exactly, and his last 103 games, he's got 90 goals. If he continues at that rate, he's blowing them records away. But again, I think it's pivotal for Spurs keeping hold of Harry Kane and building around him and keeping the others around him too. The new stadium's imminent, and they've got to build on that. And a lot of that comes down to money again, because we're seeing players change clubs for huge amounts of sums of money, wages as well. Spurs have to compete with the likes of Harry Kane, Dele Alli there.
And you think that he's the most important player for them to keep hold of? There's all this talk, isn't there, about does Dele Alli go abroad? Does he fancy playing abroad? But they've got talent in Eriksen, who scored an amazing goal today, Son as well. But you think keeping hold of Harry Kane is the key thing? Because Eriksen is also a stunning footballer when he turns it on, isn't he?
Listen, I think they've probably got two people at the football club that are irreplaceable. Just to answer your question, Jake, and that is Harry Kane and Mauricio Pochettino right now for Tottenham Hotspur. It's as simple as that. Everybody else, they may move on, but it's so important that they keep Harry Kane and Mauricio Pochettino at that football club, because everything that you're seeing kind of.
They played lovely stuff today, didn't they?
Yeah, they were brilliant. I think Everton, with all due respect, made it easy for them. We will speak a little bit later and look into it a bit further, but how passive they were today, it kind of took you back to the time before Big Sam came here, and that'll be the most disappointing for him. Standing on that touchline, watching his team play without the intensity that he expects of a Sam Allardyce team, will be the thing that hurts him in that change room now, I'm sure.
I know that Tottenham fans often get frustrated with broadcasters because they think that we always talk up them selling their players for every good performance. There is talk about a new deal for Heung-min Son, and you sort of sense the type of form he's in at the moment, with 2 years left on his current deal. They need to tie him down again, don't they?
They do, but I don't think you ever sense from Son that he's upset or angry. His performance today and this season have been exemplary. His touch around the box, the way that he attacks players and gets at them, he's so productive. Could have got himself a couple of goals quite easily today. I just thought everything he does is focused around making something happen. And we talk a lot of the time about, how can Spurs really get to that next level? Do they need a Mahrez? Do they need kind of a Draxler type player to really take them to that next level? He is the one, Son, in that side who can face people up and go, I'm going to go by you, I'm going to make something happen. And he's shown again today just how important he is to the team.
I think his importance is even highlighted even more when Harry Kane's out. Last season, when Harry Kane was out for a sustained amount of time, he came in and scored the goals. He's the guy they look to. So he's someone they know that they can rely upon, and I think Pochettino sees that in him, and I'm sure he'll be rewarded for that.
And his relationship with Harry also is crucial, isn't it? You see them out there today. Their link-up play was fantastic.
His relationship with Harry, with Dele, with Christian Eriksen, with the whole team, the whole group of players love playing with him. And I think not only on the pitch, but off the pitch, that's stuff that Pochettino likes to look at, because it's all about the dynamic and the way that the team work together. And I think just the way that he's settled in since coming from Bayer Leverkusen it's been spot on. We spoke earlier about new players settling into a team. He's a prime example, son.
Okay, well, you said the two players, or the two people they've got to keep hold of, Harry Kane and Maurizio Pochettino. We've heard from one, and let's now hear from the other. The manager is with Des.
Was that pretty much a perfect evening for you, Maurizio?
Yes, I think it was a fantastic performance. Very pleased. I think we fully deserved on the end the victory, and yeah, so happy because I think for us it was a game that must win and important, massive 3 points for us today.
I was trying to get through an interview without mentioning Harry Kane, but that's impossible, of course. He's matched the Premier League club record of goal scorers and passed Teddy Sheringham. How does he do this consistently?
Well, he's so talented player and so professional, and I'm very happy. I think congratulate him because he deserves all the credit, a lot of prize, and yes, in this way he's going to break everything, all the record, on Premier League and on England, and I'm so happy, and yes, fantastic because helped the team to win the 3 points.
You set every record, so he's aiming for Jimmy Greaves' 220 league goals, yeah?
Yes, the good thing is far, it's still far, and that is good because if not, every weekend is going to celebrate something, no?
But it's not all about Harry, because Heung-min Son's tonight an unsung hero in this team in many respects. He was very important.
Yes, I think to open the game was fantastic, the first goal, and then the performance is been consistency in the last few months, and yes, he's helping the team, and he's more mature than last season, and he's showing much better behaviour and performance every week.
Chelsea's draw at home today offered you a chance, and you have taken it. It's very important as well.
No, it's so important to be there, fighting, very close, 3 points, the gap with Chelsea and Manchester United, and the same point to Liverpool. Of course, they need to play tomorrow, but on Monday. But still a long way to the end of the season. If you are consistency until on the end, sure that we are going to fight for one place on the top 4.
Congratulations, well
done. Thank you very much.
And at the moment they're outside the top 4, but only on goals scored. So Maurizio, they're talking about the fight to get into the top 4. What about the signings? Do they need to do something in this January window, do you think, just to help them over the line a bit in that race for the Champions League?
I think not just for this end of the season push. I think in general, I think I feel like a broken record in terms of what they need is that start in this team, that other player that can kind of draw people out of position.
Who?
Carrasco, Atletico Madrid. Will you get him? Draxler, who's maybe surplus to at PSG. I think you need them players like I've said before. Hazard at Chelsea when they won the league, he draws 2 and 3 players out of position, allows other players to have more space. At the moment, if you shut down Harry Kane, you go a long way to stopping this Tottenham team. That's not no disrespect to the other players, but he's the main man, so you lock him down. Whereas someone like that who can draw players out of position, Mahrez maybe, someone like that, you take 2 and 3 players out, now your star man, the man who you rely on to get your goals, is freed up 1v1 against a centre-half. Imagine that here for
I personally don't see Spurs signing anybody in this window. They don't tend to kind of go out in January and do anything too crazy. They'll wait their time. I think what's most important to them, Wanyama came back today, Dembele put in a top performance as well. They've been missing big players throughout the season. Those two especially were huge for them last year. Get Toby Alderweireld back as well, Lamela back into the team. I mean, just to kind of get those 4 senior players back into the squad going into the Champions League stages as well. They're like new signings anyway.
They've got the foundations of a fantastic squad here. But as I said, they need that 1 or 2 extra players to kind of really wrap it up.
And it's going to shake up the season over the next few weeks. We'll know exactly where they are, really, won't we, by the end of February? I mean, Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal will determine the top 4 almost, and then it's just a small matter of Juventus in the Champions League after that. It's not a bad few weeks, is it?
That'll be a huge couple of weeks there, and I think that, again, this is where this team will be judged, in them big games there. Because at times they've been fine wanting in them big games, and they've got to change that perception about this
But that's
team.
when they should be judged now, because Spurs have now moved to this level, haven't they? They are.
When Rio was at Manchester United, these weeks would have been coming up, I'm guessing, every single season. You know, a week within the season where you can say that's the week we win. That's the year we win the title. Sorry, the week we win the title. And that's what Spurs are going through here. It's a week for them to really solidify that 4th place position and progress in the Champions League. It's massively important.
But it's also having the people in their change room to identify that area there, because you turn the corner at the turn of the year, New Year's there, and you look down the line and say, right, where are we going to be? We've got to be in a position to strike here. Then it's about going out and doing it. There's a run of games there we see is going to be a huge pivotal part of the season, and it's having them people in the dressing room, the manager even, to identify that and say, right, we work towards that, and then we start motoring. And I think that's the mentality side of the game as well, where they've got to make sure they're all in tune to really get over the line and get in that top 4.
Okay. And we'll talk about Theo Walcott and Everton in Premier League tonight. We're live here till 9 o'clock this evening. Not a happy man, and there's a clear message to his players, isn't there?
I thought it was a very fair debrief of what actually occurred in the second half with this team. I do agree in the first half, I thought that they put out a reasonable display, looked decent on the threat, got numbers in the box. In the second half, that was the Everton that I think most fans were watching at the start of the season. Unorganised, all over the place, no intensity, allowing players time on the ball. Yeah, he was well within his rights to be upset.
I think it was a brutal, honest assessment of his team today, and I think that's what will be most disheartening to him, is the effort, the lack of fight, down in the tools once they went a goal down. I think the turning point was the Wayne Rooney goal, offside goal. Once that happened, that kicked Tottenham into play. But you see there's time and space that these Spurs players have, and these are quality technicians. These guys can play football under pressure, let alone give them space like here. This is what we would have seen in the time before Sam came to the club. And time on the ball, these players are going to put the ball into the dangerous areas, and you're going to get punished. And you've got Harry Kane on this pitch who thrives off opportunities, and you're just giving them opportunities on a plate here, and you're going to get hurt. And
they're not working hard, Rio, are they, Spurs? No. In terms of like trying to get on the ball, it's easy for them. They're not having to run players away and get back in. And obviously, this is the frustrations that come from that. I mean, Wayne Rooney chasing players down and getting himself a yellow card, which was very ill-disciplined.
I think what was a big part of what that interview there with Big Sam was as well, which was identified well before he got there, is the distinct lack of pace within this team. It was evident today. This Spurs team looked fitter, quicker, stronger, and that needs to be something.
Yeah, but what he's angry about isn't a lack of pace today, it's a lack of effort. And you know, when he first arrived, we were talking about an Everton side that were in a relegation scrap. After the last few results when he first came in, they got out of that, and it's almost a bit like they've just taken their foot off the gas in the past few games, because that threat's
what he was alluding to there as well in his interview was that yes, he'd stopped the goals going in at the other end, but then they still need to be a threat at the other end, and with that he needs pace, and that's what's lacking in this team. Their recruitment in the summer, I thought they got some very good players in, but all very much of a muchness, and all of them, pace wasn't a part of their identity. So that's something that I'm sure he's looking to address.
And it's about signing players now for the long term for him, isn't it? You know, this is going to be one of those strange seasons where they're not going to make Europe, they're not going to get relegated either, are they?
No, look, they signed a lot of players in the summer, Everton, already.
A few, yeah.
And I'd like to think that they'll be far more specific in their choices, and I think that's why Sam is highlighting pace and the lack of it within his team, and that's obviously why they're going for Theo Walcott, and he feels that if he can bring that in with the goal threat, that it will change the dynamic and the threat, I suppose, element to this team, because you can see with Spurs they can press so high up the park knowing no one's going to really run in behind, so he's right in highlighting that.
Yeah, because you've got players like Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney could have got a couple of goals today. You always know you're going to have a chance with him, such a great goal scorer. Sigurdsson gives you great quality as well, but they're players that Wayne Rooney, latter part of his career, they're going to come to the ball. They're not going to run away from you. As a defender, people coming to the ball and seeing it in front of you, that's the easier player to mark.
Okay, well, that's without a doubt the worst performance of Everton under Sam Allardyce. He questioned their professionalism. He also talked about tomorrow, so they're in for training tomorrow. Bad news for them once they're back up north. Right, let me just let you know what else is going on here on BT Sport. Next Saturday from midday, Sutton United against Dagenham and Redbridge in the Vanarama. Next Saturday from 2:45, you can see BT Sport Score. And then we've got another big game for you. Manchester City against the Newcastle side, who are still struggling and still very much up against a threat of relegation. But we're far from finished here. We're going to talk actually about Theo Walcott and his chances of making that move to Everton on Premier League tonight. We're live here until 9 o'clock this evening. Are you misbehaving?
No, just checking out.